Let's add up all the tools we need, then we will create our first React 3 Fiber project. It is not important if you are using Mac, Linux or Windows. I'm personally using a MacBook Pro, so all the lessons will be on OS X. But if something I show triggers error either on Linux or on Windows, please contact us on the Discord. I will help you find a solution and I will update the lesson so it doesn't happen for the others. The first thing we will need is a code editor. I will be using Visual Studio Code, but of course use your favorite one. You can download it on code.visualstudio.com. You can find the links in the lesson and download the version for your system. If you choose Visual Studio Code, I recommend you 3 extensions. You can go on the left bar and go to Extensions, search for ESLint, click on the first one and install it. I already have it. This extension will generate warning and errors based on your code before you need to test and detect bugs. Then the second extension is Prettier. Click here and install it. It's a code formatter. What it means is when you will save your file, or you can also trigger it manually, it will format your code with the settings that you defined. It helps having a clean code and consistency over your projects. To define the settings for Prettier and ESLint, you can go on the top bar, Code, Settings and open Settings. Then search for Prettier. And you have all the settings. You can see my settings, but of course it's up to you to find the one that fits more your coding style. For example, there is print width, so my lines are never getting over 80 characters. In the settings, search for formatter and be sure that Prettier is set as the code formatter, and also search only for format. And you can define if it format on save. I use it personally, so every time I save, my code is formatted. Let me show you on an example file. For example, I put a lot of spaces. I put long lines. I remove here a semicolon and I hit save. And now my code is back to what it should be. It removed the spaces. It set back the semicolon here, so it speeds up my process and my code is cleaner. Do the same for ESLint. Go to extension here and see the default settings. For example, you can say ESLint is triggered only on type or when you save your file. Last extension, but it's very optional, is Copilot. It's $10 per month, but it helps gain some time by suggesting code and helping you writing your code. Maybe it's not important if you're just starting. We'll also need Node.js engine to be able to run our development server. Go on nodejs.org and click on download LTS version. Then follow the installation procedure. To check if Node.js is installed properly, you can create an index.js file, console.log hello world, save the file and run node index.js. If you see hello world with the mistake, then it means it's working and Node.js is set up properly. Then we need a package manager to install the libraries for Three.js, React 3 Fiber or even React. You can use either npm or yarn. I will be using yarn in the lessons because it's faster. To install it, follow the link in the lesson. Scroll down, either you already have npm, you can execute this command, or you can click here on alternatives, choose your operating system and follow the instruction. For example, on Windows, you have an installer. Now we have all the tools to create our project. We will be using Vite as a build tool. If you don't know it, it's like Webpack, but it's fast, it's lightweight and it's easy to use. Open a terminal in Visual Studio Code, go on top, new terminal, and run yarn, create Vite. It's asking you your project name, so you can say setup, for example. Then the framework we will be using, we will choose React. And the last step is to choose between TypeScript or JavaScript. For this course, we'll be using JavaScript, but feel free to use TypeScript if you prefer. Now our project is created. It's in a subfolder named setup. We go to it with cd, run yarn to install all the dependencies. Once it's finished, yarn dev. It will start the development server. You can click on it to open it. You should see this page, Vite plus React with the counter. Let's add Three.js and React 3 Fiber. We can kill the development server with Ctrl+C, Ctrl L to clean, and then we will add the libraries with yarn add 3, add types/3, and at react 3/fiber. For your future project, if you have a doubt about what are the commands, you can either go to our course or go to React 3 Fiber documentation and see the procedure to install it. Now we have our dependencies installed. Let's change a bit the default project that has been created. Let's go to index.css. It comes with a default style. Let's remove it and add on a root with full width with 100 viewport width, and same for the height. Then the body, we will remove the default margin by setting it to 0. We can also remove their app.css, we won't use it. And we will change the code in app.jsx. We can remove everything here. And inside the function app, also remove everything. So we have function app. We will return a canvas. So it's a component from React 3 Fiber. You can see that ESLint doesn't know it and the auto-completion doesn't work. It's because I'm still on the top parent folder. I will just save and open the setup folder directly in Visual Studio Code. File, open folder, and open setup. I go back to my file, app.jsx. Now I hit Ctrl space and I have the auto import setting that is shown. Okay, now we have our canvas. What is it? It will render a proper HTML canvas, but it will be used as a renderer for our WebGL context. This is inside that canvas that we will display 3D items, 3D objects. Then I will write the following code to display a box, but don't be scared, we will explain it later. We have box geometry and a mesh normal material. Let's try to run it. Yarn dev. We now have a square in the middle of our screen. It's because the camera position is in front of it, so we can see perspective and the fact that it is in 3D. We can move the camera position by going on the canvas and adding the prop camera. It's an object, we will set the position, and it's an array of coordinates. Again, we will explain how it works, 3JS position, in the next lesson. We save it. When we reload, we can see we have a cube in the middle of our screen. We now have a starting point to create 3D experiences. Let's talk about versions. When we installed React 3 Fiber and 3JS, we just say yarn add and the libraries. What it did when we did that, it generated, well, it was already here. We had a package.json and it added the libraries in the dependencies in the package.json. And you can see that we have different versions. We have 0.155 for 3JS. For React 3 Fiber, we have the 8.13.7, but both libraries are updated frequently and independently. This means that for some tutorials or from this course to when you will do it, the same code might behave differently. For each lesson, I provide a starter pack so you are sure that the dependencies will be the correct ones. But it's very good to know how it works to be able to see the versions. Then, for example, you go to React 3 Fiber repository, you go and open the package.json, and you look on the dev dependencies that React 3 Fiber relies on. If you search for 3, you can see that it was built on top of the 0.139. So if you use that version of 3JS, you are sure it's compatible. And you can do the same for any project or tutorial. For example, one of my tutorial, you open the package.json and you see on what dependency I did it. You also might have error that occurred on your project based on ESLint and have errors triggered. It didn't happen to me this time, but let me show you just in case. By default, Vite provide a ESLint config. If you have warning and errors trigger with this code, please add the line here in extents, it's plugin at react-3/recommended. And it should make your issues disappear. Let's add a final thing to our starter project. We open the terminal and we will add React 3 Dry. This is a collection of components and helpers made on top of React 3 Fiber and 3JS. For example, here we can add an orbit controls from Dry. We save it, we restart our server. Now our 3D scene has orbit controls. It's a helper to move the camera based on the mouse and also touch events. We now have everything ready to start learning about Web 3D and to create our first 3D experiences.